Part 1, just a bunch of disembodied thoughts. To you, I'm nothing more than a disembodied script, just a bunch of words written on a piece of electronic paper, without soul or mind, all read out loud by an artificial, robotic voice. But in reality, in my world, I'm much more than that. I'm a human. Or, at least, I think I am. I'm a living, breathing, thinking organism. And that, even with all those amazing possibilities that it brings with itself, can be really tough. I am, or, at least I hope that I am, driven mainly by my brain. By my thoughts. Every decision is dictated by them, every step I make, every word I let out of my mouth, heck, even the direction that this script is currently facing, is solely driven by my thoughts. I think a lot. Like, a lot. Probably too much. And, like I've mentioned at the beginning of this video, I'm a thinking organism, sure, but it's just too simplified. I'm also a writer, member of a family, friend. I have all these roles that all come with different sets of responsibilities and obligations. I have so much stuff that is put on my shoulders in hope that I eventually won't bend over and fall on my stupid face, letting it all crush me under its overwhelming weight. And we all do. We all have different backgrounds, backstories, current events that are happening in our lives, responsibilities, duties, emotions, thoughts, memories, dreams. We all do. We are all just a very loose, disembodied brain that contains his even more loose and disembodied contents in the form of our thoughts. I'm just a bunch of written words, you're just a bunch of numbers displayed on my analytics page. We know nothing about each other, but obviously, there's a thick string that's connecting us all together. We're humans. Big pieces of meat walking on two legs, and equipped with the greatest weapon ever known to mankind. Our brain. That very brain, that's able to do the unthinkable. Think. Part 2, looking at the world through the smudged car's window. My favorite place to just sit and think is, undeniably, passenger seat in a driving car. If it's on the back of the vehicle, then it's even better. When I do this, when I have a chance to just sit and stare through the smudged car window at this world slowly being painted before my eyes, I have this odd feeling. Like floating through the whole universe's length inside a tiny, soap bubble, and just watching this unthinkable, stripped of all its matter void, pass right next to me. I'm completely separated from the rest of this tiny and devoid of details miniature model that replaced Earth previously known to mankind. Outside this minuscule space filled with monotonous engine noises and rattles, everything could happen. Death could stretch out its bony fingers and start slowly spreading them, catching in its grasp more and more people. Meteor could fall, sinking its gluttonous teeth into buildings' bodies and Earth's foundations. Fires could start, stopping everybody dead in their tracks, with their firmness colder even than the most solid ice. Everything could happen, cause it's only on the outside. Mock-up graves are being unhurriedly filled with nothing more than fake, plastic spines and skulls, that previously belonged to nothing more than soulless figurines, pretending to live in this hollow, artificial city. It doesn't matter to me. Despite walking past all these buildings, trees, and people nearly every day, while looking at them through the car's window, feel completely detached from them. I'm detached from, well, everything. It's just me, a bunch of loose bones and muscles, as well as my thoughts, a bunch of muddled emotions, memories, and goals, all accompanied by that almost ambient-like engine noises coming from within of my tiny bubble. It's very surreal, and kind of beautiful, you know? Part 3, sudden burst of the bubble. I think that I've spent enough time explaining my complex and, to be honest, kind of weird, relationship with thinking while driving a car. Now it's time to explain why I'm right now writing this, instead of sitting on a passenger seat. You see, I'm of course underage, and for obvious reasons I not only don't own, but just can't drive a car myself. My only option to think while being transported by this graceful vehicle, is for my father to take me on the ride. And, for another set of obvious reasons, we can't do this very often. We're using our car mainly to do some bigger shopping once in a while, meet with family and friends, or, occasionally, do something like visit a doctor. That's not really too many reasons and occasions to fasten your seatbelts and prepare for the drive. And the current pandemic, with all these limitations and restrictions that come with it, really isn't helping me with spending as much time behind the car's dashboard as I'd like to do. But I think that I've found a solution. Yeah, it's finally time for me to get to the thing advertised in title and thumbnail. Sorry, videos without some of this pure, pretentious sauce trademark are just too bland for me. Part 4, a literal mock-up of metaphorically artificial world. I've been playing Euro Truck Simulator for more than 200 hours. And, of course, it's still counting. It's not any astronomically high number. I know people that have a few thousand hours in this beautiful gem of a game, but it's beside the point. For me, my playtime is massive, especially because I've picked up this game only like a few months ago. I've been drawn into this precious, artificial, mock-up of our world slowly being rendered in the distance, while we peacefully sit inside Truck's cabin and carefully turn the virtual steering wheel to the right. You see, Euro Truck captures perfectly everything that I've mentioned in previous segments. That feeling of isolation, detachment, being nothing more than a small soap bubble floating through the whole universe's lengths. Here it's almost no longer metaphorical, it's literally a miniature model that's centered around you, the player, and have almost no effect on your driving. Of course, you have to avoid crushing into other cars and watch out for unbreakable road barriers, but other than that, you are free. You are almost unlimited in your options, that can bring your driving experience to exactly what you want and expect from this game. And while I'm on the topic of options, let's talk about those. Part 5, Freedom of Fastening Your Virtual Seatbelts. I've never ever even stood next to a truck, let alone driven one. I had literally no interest in them. I most of the time never really minded about their existence, and I know that a lot of you might have similar experience to me. I was, genuinely, kind of scared when I was booting the game for the first time. What if it will require from me some knowledge in truck driving areas, that I, obviously, didn't have? Fortunately, it turned out to be kind of an opposite. You know, like I've mentioned previously, game gives you a lot of options. But, like, a lot of options. It's not even an exaggeration, you can change and match to your preferences so many things, starting from controls and difficulty of the driving, to details like frequency of in-game rain or road blockades after NPCs crashes. When you have a minimal video games driving experience, for example, you've played any racing or driving game once in your lifetime, you'll be okay. Seriously, trust me. It's coming from such a lazy and inexperienced person when it comes to driving and games, that you just can't set the bar any lower. If I can do this, you can, 100%, do this too. Everything is so effortless to figure out that you'll get the basics in a few minutes, and then polish your driving skills in a matter of the next 2 or 3 hours. But even if the base game is too hard or challenging for you, it's not a problem. Mods will fix everything for you. And I'm really confident in saying this. Modding scene for this game is amazing, big, devoted, hardworking and talented. You'll surely find everything you need. So, if you're like me, inexperienced in field of truck driving, but still wanting to try this feeling, give this game a chance, really. Part 6, End goal is slowly being drawn on the horizon. I could talk about this game for much, much longer, and, you know, I'll probably do it one day. But for now, I want to finish and close this video's script. I think that I was able to portray and dress in fine words that feeling that is slowly taking over my mind and body while driving. In real world and, which is literally a topic of this short film, in Euro Truck. You may argue that I haven't spent enough time talking directly about the game, but I think that you're not right. What I've been talking about is universal and involves both real and virtual driving. It's not an analysis, review, or any other, formally shaped form of discussing a game. It's just me, pouring onto paper my thoughts in hope that some of you will relate to that. I really hope that I've helped convince at least one of you to pick up and try this game. Or, maybe, assisted somebody that have tried it already, to form and gather his thoughts together. It would mean a world to me, you know? Yeah. The end goal really is slowly being drawn on the horizon, partially obstructed by the truck's dashboard. Excuse me, for now, my in-game, artificial delivery of artificial goods through that artificial, mock-up world isn't completed yet. It was yours, I hope, favorite disembodied, simulated voice reading out loud script consisting of a bunch of disembodied words, coming from a brain containing nothing more than just a bunch of pretentious, disembodied thoughts. See you soon. Hey, before you go, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. For you it's a few seconds, and for me it's multiple hours of hard work. I'm just starting, so, you know, every tiny thing like this means absolute world to me. Thanks.